Oh, it's good to see everybody. Obviously reviewing the game on Saturday, it was great to get a lot of guys in the game, and what was even better is that a lot of guys played very well, which is important for us. Obviously, with this being a very long season, with the 3 bye weeks, we know it's going to be a long marathon, and the more we can develop our depth both sides of the ball, and especially how that impacts us in the special teams, that's a great benefit to us. On offense, again, I think Jaron Williams continues to improve. We just found out he was announced the ACC Rookie of the Week this week, which is pretty cool. I think a little early on, took him a little bit to get into the game, but he really settled down. And again, he's taking care of the football, showing great accuracy with his throws, and more than anything, is just the same guy, no matter what's going on the field. And it was also great to get N'Kosi Perry some action in the game. Thought he went in and played well and threw the ball well, which is what we expected, because that's what we'd seen all throughout training camp. DJ Dallas again continues to be the identity of our offense with his ability to hammer it in there when he needs to hammer it in there, and then also to break the long one. It's a great example of a game where we were a little slow in starting. You never really know which play is going to get it, and bang, it's a simple inside zone play that DJ takes to the house, and that really got us going from that point on. I'm not sure that we were stopped much after that. And then a lot of the credit again has to go to the blocking, the offensive line. All the quarterbacks had ample time to throw all day. There was certainly space for the running backs to run the ball, and the blocking really extended to the tight ends. I thought they had their best day blocking and on the perimeter as well. Guys playing very hard without the ball. That was a big thing we stressed this game, is how hard can we play. Don't rely on talent. Don't rely on the things that really are God-given. It was more of a game where we wanted our culture to show up, and I thought it did. In every phase of the game. Defensively, obviously to force 10 3-and-outs is a pretty special day. Field position was really the issue with the hidden factor in the game. I think our average starting field position was our 46 or 48. Theirs was inside their 20. The hitting yardage was over 300 yards factor in terms of where we started, where they started on the 13 drives. So that's everything. That's the offense not going 3-and-out. The offense only had 1 3-and-out, which I think was the opening drive of the game. Defense forcing 10 3-and-outs. We were dominant on the net punt averages between the two teams. Their net punt versus our net punt, and same thing on average starting field position after kickoff. So again, all that credit goes to really everybody that plays. Everybody that plays is responsible for special teams. Defensively, again, I think the run defense this season's off to a great start. Third down defense is off to a great start. There's obviously things that we're still looking to clean up. We felt like there's some plays in terms of tackle for loss and sacks that we're leaving on the field, and at times guys, again, and this is not uncommon for our defense. If you look back the last 4 years now, early in the season, it just you got to develop that trust in guys just going and doing their job and letting the other guy eat when it's his turn to eat, and then you know that it'll be your turn too in this defense. But I expect that to continue to improve as the year goes on. And then I mentioned special teams. I thought we were dominant in the punt game. I thought we were dominant in the kickoff game. Obviously, we're still disappointed in the one short missed field goal. But at the same time, Bubba Bax is probably the top kickoff guy, or one of the top kickoff guys in the country. And I forget how many touchbacks we had, but we had 3 tackles inside the 15-yard line, which is outstanding. So again, just a great performance by our guys, which is all we could do last week. Was one thing. The only thing we could accomplish was beat Bethune-Cookman. This week, the only thing we can get done this week is defeat Central Michigan. Central Michigan, I think, like us, new staff, game 3, it felt like they played their best game, kind of like the same thing. They're sort of finding their sea legs in all 3 phases. Obviously, we know with Jim McElwain, they're going to have a well-designed offense. They're very multiple, like us. They present a lot of personnel groups, formations, motions, shifts, a lot to have to adjust to on defense. And then their defense does a great job. They play very hard, and they can go back and forth between playing an even front and a bare front. Outside, they'll play man coverage, they'll play split safety coverage. So again, it's a game where we've got to make sure we know what we're doing on both sides of the ball, because they will present some issues. The big thing for us again is to be back at home, back in our stadium. I thought our fans were outstanding last Saturday when you had very high temperatures, and I don't know if anybody looked at the future radar, but the radar wasn't looking very good on Saturday afternoon, and the fact that we stayed dry and without delay was sort of a blessing, and it's just good to get back into a routine, good to get back at Hard Rock Stadium, and we're really looking forward to getting back there this Saturday again at 4 o'clock. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
noticed John Garvin, as far as he's being blocked differently than when he had Joe Jackson opposite him? And the second part to that was obviously Patchen, Trayvon Hill, Rousseau have all had their moments. How do you and Coaches Stroud and Baker decide on snap allocation? Because Patchen has played substantially more than those other two. What's that a function of?
Well, normally, and this has never changed in the last 4 years, the snap allocation on the defensive front is you have to earn the right to sack a quarterback. And the way you earn the right to sack a quarterback is how you play the run. And that's so in terms of, in this day and age, we say on first down and second down, defensive ends are linebackers. Because that's usually who the offense is reading on all their zone read game and that type of stuff. So the ability to have your eyes in the right spot to play the blocks the right way will put the other team in third down situations. Now, who gets to earn the right to play in third down situations? I don't think there's any doubt that Jonathan Garvin is off to a great start this season. The thing you have to look at when people play our defense, like if you take all the pass attempts from this past game, people are going to throw the ball very quickly against our defense. You know, they're not going to have the ball in the quarterback's hand very long because they know they're going to try to stay out of negative plays. So some of that's going to always affect your pass rush numbers. So again, you're always looking at, you know, the effect of your pressure at times will not always be measured in sacks. Now, like that being said, I still felt like we left some sacks on the field, usually just because of just everybody just being where they need to be and just doing their job. But the final point on snap allocation, that's something that's always fluid throughout the year. That's something that we're always trying to look at because guys are getting more comfortable in our system. You know, obviously you mentioned like Trayvon, his first year in doing things our way. A guy like Greg Rousseau is just every game just getting out there and getting better. So it wouldn't be surprising to see those guys play more as they get more comfortable in what we're trying to do.
Manny,
Manny, in a game where you got so many second and third stringers in the game, were there any players that particularly impressed you that you could see playing more often now, Jimmy Murphy aside?
Well, and to us, Jimmy Murphy's a starter. If you start on punt, you're a starter on our team. So again, what he did in the fourth quarter, you know, that just goes back to his high school running back skills. But that guy on special teams has already been a dude for us now for 2 years running, down the punt to 1 yard line in the first quarter. So there were a lot of guys that really got in there, and I thought played well for us and are getting good experience. I mean, certainly offensively, you know, Robert Burns went in the game in the fourth quarter, ran the ball very hard, which was very encouraging. You know, I thought there was a lot of guys on that second string offensive line that went in there and did a good job and were on their guys and playing hard. And that we really challenged everybody. We said we were going to, you know, no matter who went in the game, we didn't want our standard to drop. You know, certainly to see a guy like D. Wiggins make an explosive play on the wide receiver sweep was really cool, and to see him put a foot in the ground and show the speed that he showed. I think he clocked 22 miles an hour on our catapult system, which that's getting now, that's moving. So there's a bunch, you know, obviously certainly saw Larry Hodges, you know, with 2 touchdown catches, and you know, and he's a guy that can play a role for us, and it's been exciting. I wanted, you know, I thought Sam Brooks getting in on defense was pretty exciting, and him getting some experience and see him run and chase the ball and hit and tackle, to make us think that he's got a really, really bright future here as well. You know, Keontre Smith played safety, you know, we had Corey Couch and Christian Williams in the corner, and all those guys looked like they knew what they were doing and looked like they belonged on that field. And I'm leaving other guys out, but that's just those are guys off the top of my head.
Hey Manny, I know you're more involved obviously in the offensive side now, being the head coach. With Jeff Thomas, you know, obviously still very involved in the offense, but his role seems to be different. He's averaging I think 8 yards a catch. Last year he was much more involved in the deep passing game. I guess what are you guys maybe doing differently with Jeff than you were a year ago, and I guess how is he sort of accepting that role?
Well, it's hard to say he's not involved in the deep passing game because, again, there have been so many plays. I go back to the Florida game. On the first 12 plays of the game, Jeff is like on the back of a milk carton, wide open for an explosive play. You know, we couldn't get the ball, we couldn't protect. It was just, you know, a combination of things. So, again, it's hard to always look at the numbers and say, oh, this guy has all of a sudden turned into a short passing game guy. You know what I mean? So, because we know, I mean, Jeff is a guy that can blow the top off of the defense. He's a guy that can go deep, you know, and make plays. So I would sort of file that under a small sample size, you know what I mean? And I think you'll see as the season goes on in the explosive plays. You know how it is, it only takes one chunk play for your average to kind of get skewed. You know, I mean, that's like saying, you know, like now Mark Pope averages 25 yards a catch. You know, I mean, that's not, you know, I mean, they'll be all shapes and sizes, I think, the way the offense goes.
Manny, I know you've said about Bubba Baxa that it's not always psychological.
Sure.
And you know, you guys have to pinpoint what he's doing wrong. What have you guys, you know, looking on film, what is he doing wrong technically, I guess?
Well, if it was always the same thing, you could always say, well, you just do this, I think some of the things, I think I will give you the same answer as if you ask me, why we have a corner struggling in coverage. I think some of the technical things I think we'll leave, behind the closed doors. But again, what is important for Bubba is the same thing that's important for all of our guys. Fix your issues, don't repeat a mistake, you know what I mean? Fully commit to whatever you're doing, whether it's playing as hard as you can play as a defensive tackle, or fully committing to kicking the football. And then come out here every week to compete and practice, because that's ultimately all we can control.
There was some booing this week. I mean, that just has to get to his head somehow. How do you deal with that? Does he talk to a psychologist or?
He's definitely talked to some people, but look, when you sign up for that position, it's like playing quarterback, because he's also the guy that we're going to storm the field and carry out the field when he hits a walk-off game winner. It's just, that's part of it, you know what I mean? And again, you're in a position where you play so few snaps, and you're just judged differently than when, gosh, you left the tight end wide open. Well, guess what? The safety made the tackle anyways. It's a first down, and so we get it. It's a pass fail down, right? It's an A or an F every time, and you have to learn how to navigate those consequences if you want to be a kicker. And then all the great ones, and I'm not saying he's at that level yet. All the great ones have had misses. It's all a part of it. So to me, he's a young guy. He's still in his sophomore year, and as long as we continue to see his development, his growth, and his will to improve, and his will to compete every day in practice, because we have some other guys that Camden Price went in there and looked good, knocking a couple PATs in there, so again, we come out and practice no different than who the starting corner is or whatever. Just keep competing, keep improving, you know what I mean, and we'll do whatever we can to get you where you need to get to.
Okay, thank you.
Manny, last year late in the season, we saw one or two players, I recall Cam Davis, where if they had not played the fifth game, they would have preserved a red shirt, but the decision was made to play them. How conscious of that will you be this year? If there's a guy late in the season that's sitting there at 4, is your priority, I want him available, or is your priority, I'd like to get an extra year out of him and red shirt?
So, with the new rule in place, that is something you're always going to be aware of. And there are people that we pushed into the game on Saturday, who we're aware of may not play in 4 games this year, but to get them that experience and to get them, just getting the stadium and getting in the game and understanding what it's like to be on the field, because, even as silly as it sounds, Jaron Williams taking a snap in the Savannah State game a year ago made the Florida game not his first ever snap. Now, of course, that's apples to oranges, playing at home versus them in the fourth quarter as opposed to what he found in Orlando. But you're still in the game, you're still in a huddle, you're still seeing that, just what it's a little different out there, So as many guys we can try to put into those positions, and like we did last Saturday, we will. But you also have to factor, you can't predetermine it, right? Because you understand how injuries are going to take a toll. You just don't know where the season is going to go. But yeah, you're always going to be aware if there's a guy that you can keep under 4 and save a year. For sure, you'll always do that.
Man, as odd as it is to ask right after a shutout, 1 turnover for us last 2 games, and also tackles for loss a little bit down. Is there any difference in the way the defense is attacking this year or anything? I know you want to see that number increase. For sure.
Right. And I'm really greedy because 8 tackles for loss will always get you in the top 5 in the country. So when we're sitting around bitching about 8 tackles for loss, then we set the standard pretty high. But the turnover thing, we had the ball touch us all kinds of times, on tip passes, in terms of potential interceptions. They ran 48 plays of offense, and they went up 3 and out 10 times. I think sometimes with stuff like that, you could be nitpicking. I think again, are we stopping the run? Are we creating 3rd down long situations? Are we getting on field in 3rd down? And then are we not giving up big plays? Because that's what we did the first 2 games. We eliminated the big play thing this past week, and now that's where we want to get a roll and try to keep that thing going.
Manny, just going back off of Barry's question about red shirts, Zach McLeod's kind of an interesting guy because he obviously is so talented, and with the other 2 guys you got starting in front of him, he hasn't played a whole lot. Was there ever any conversation about potentially redshirting this year? Is that ever something he's considered?
No, Zach is too important to our team.
Okay.
No, he's a guy that we're counting on this year, and we get it in the rotation time because of and again there could be games where he could also transition to Sam linebacker. It's just we haven't played that type of offense yet, so to me his role on this team right now is too crucial. be a guy that he's not a luxury to us. You know, he's a necessity.
Carter said, I was gonna ask you about Peyton Matoka getting in, if the philosophy is different with getting quarterbacks, but I definitely wanted to bring up the injury situation and how Mark Pope is doing. I heard you this morning, and also, is Brevin okay? I know you said something about dehydration.
Yeah, Brevin's fine, practiced last night. Mark, I think, like I said, we'll know more tomorrow, you know what I mean, just kind of letting the swelling calm down, but, you know, like I said, fingers crossed, we will have him for this weekend. And,
Finley, maybe? Romeo Finley, how was he?
same thing, we'll know more tomorrow with him, you know, and then on the aspect of, you know, Peyton Matoka, you know, that was really a factor of how the game went, because we really felt like we needed to push, getting Nkosi in the game, and just in terms of how many drives were left there in the second half, so, you know, he's a guy that, you know, you never know that we're still getting him ready as if he could go into a game.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.